What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve Netto for one last time here, breaking it down in 2019 for a last video of the year, and it's going to be a big one today. As you saw in the title, I'm breaking down my top 10 sneakers of 2019. This has been a long-awaited video that took a lot of time to figure out. Obviously, this year was so crazy for sneakers, and this was the year of the resurgence of my channel starting back in January. So I want to say first off, thank you guys to everyone who supported me so far. This year has been amazing, and I'm so excited for 2020. It's going to be an even bigger year, so there's plenty of content to go around. So very excited for this video here today. Like I said, the top 10 sneakers of 2019. There were so many candidates, so many good shoes that released across this year to talk about, but I had to boil it down to just 10. This list is just personally based on me. This is my favorite top 10. It's not the most hyped, it's not the most limited. It's a mix of a bunch of different things and boiling down to my personal top 10. This was not all stuff that I picked up. I did get some of this stuff, not all of it, but this was just my favorite top 10 sneakers that released in 2019 that I think were the best. So before we jump into this video, I just want to say be sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. Like I said, this year has been awesome for me in 2019, and I'm so excited to see all the things we can do in 2020. So just be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with what I post. But for now, we need to just jump into this video right here of the top 10 sneakers of 2019. So let's go. So breaking it down at number 10, the number 10 spot goes to the shoes I have right here, the Air Jordan 11 Bred. These go without saying, one of the most iconic silhouettes of all time and of this year for sure. The Bred 11, one of the biggest releases in December. There were so many releases jam-packed back and forth all across the month, but this one was a huge one. As you can see, I had to double up. This is a pair that's staying in the closet for a while, eventually going to get worn and beaten to heck. These things are one of my favorite shoes of all time and such a great release. It was hard to place these on this list. I knew they had to be on the list, but they ended up at the number 10 spot for me. So that's what we got. Number 10, the Air Jordan 11 Bred. Next up at the number 9 spot is a sneaker I actually did not pick up this year, but one I really liked and wanted to get my hands on, but was just never able to. It's the Bodega New Balance 997S No Days Off. This was just a really clean looking sneaker in my opinion, a really good New Balance release of this year, and I just thought it looked really good. I was really trying to get my hands on a pair for a very long time, and the price just didn't end up working out. They pretty skyrocketed pretty high in terms of resale right off the bat. They were a pretty limited release. It seemed like a lot of people liked them. The colorway was just really good in my opinion, and I think it deserved the top 10 spot on my list. So for that reason, I'm giving it the number 9 spot, the Bodega 997S No Days Off. Coming in at number 8 was another sneaker that I had a really tough time placing, and honestly for me it was a little bit tough to decide if it really ranked in the top 10, but I decided putting it there. The very, very limited off-white Nike Air Force 1 Low MCA. This one for me, I decided to put on the list because I made it out to Complex Con in Chicago and missed the drop there, but was eventually able to get them on the second or third drop of them on the Sneakers Stash on the Sneakers app. It was just a crazy release all around, and the hype around Complex Con was nuts. At Complex Con, they released literally 2 pairs of this shoe. Just 2 pairs at the MCA exhibit. It was a whole big thing. They were an extremely difficult shoe to get your hands on, and luckily enough for me, I was so thankful to get them, and they're just a really cool shoe. I think they look really good, and the Off-White and Nike collaborations have been amazing from the past years and this year in total. So this one took that number 8 spot for me, just for my Complex Con connection and the work I had to go through to eventually get this pair, and thankfully being able to pick it up myself. I wanted to give it a spot in the top 10, and for me, the MCA Air Force 1 Low gets the number 8 spot. At the number 7 spot, this is actually 6 different sneakers that I couldn't even choose one. I had to encompass the whole collection. Immediately when this came out, I knew it was going to be on my list. Just personally, I think it's really cool. I'm not sure it's on too many other lists, but for me, I just had to throw it on there. It was the SpongeBob SquarePants Nike Kyrie 5 collection. There were 5 different original colorways, and then the 6th one being the SpongeBob SquarePants Pineapple House Kyrie 5 to release. I just thought they were so cool. You just can't not like these sneakers, and I was able to pick up all of them. I did reviews on all of them, and they were just some of the most fun and cool sneakers to have released this year. A little bit different, significantly less hype than a lot of other sneakers on this list. But for me, I had to throw it on there. It just goes without saying, such a cool collaboration. Kyrie does a lot of really cool stuff with sneakers. Obviously bringing SpongeBob SquarePants onto a sneaker making it available in the full family sizing that literally attracted people, at super young ages to all the way full grown adults. Just really cool all around, and I love the move by Nike. So for me, it took the number 7 spot. All 6 shoes being in the full collection, they get the number 7 spot on my top 10 list. Coming in at number 6 is another huge release by Jordan for this year. It's the Air Jordan 4 Bred. This was just another timeless silhouette, a timeless classic. That's one of my personal favorite shoes, especially from Jordan. And when this came out, I knew I needed to get a pair, and I knew it would probably make my list, and it got a pretty good spot on my list. Number 6 goes to the Bred 4. I don't even know what else to say. If you know the shoe, you know how important it is in history and how good of a shoe it's been. It's been a long time since its last release. And all this year, I was waiting for that release to just get another pair to start wearing the heck out of, and I was so glad to pick it up. So that release for me was special. I was so glad it came back out, and easily makes my top 10 list at the number 6 spot. Number 5 goes to the Nike Adapt BB. This was a crazy sneaker that Nike released towards the beginning of this year that came out in a number of different colorways, but still stayed pretty limited and honestly a little bit difficult to get in a lot of different cases. So it was just a really cool shoe. It's the self-lacing, literally performance basketball sneaker that NBA players wore across the season. It was just such an awesome sneaker that we saw release, and I personally really liked it. It's comfortable, it's actually wearable, it's a good sneaker and a decent price point considering the technology that it has. It literally has a charging pad that you put the shoes on to charge overnight. Some crazy technology that is amazing to see in sneakers that I was blown away by. So for me, I knew it had to make the list, and it takes the number 5 spot. I really like the original colorway that I was able to pick up and review, but there were a ton of other colorways that dropped, and the only drawback was how limited they were, and still the price point being $350 was still a little bit expensive, but when you consider the technology, not bad in that scheme of things. So it gets an easy spot on my list and takes the number 5 spot. Number 4 goes to the Cactus Plant Flea Market Nike VaporMax. These released earlier this year as a collaboration with Cactus Plant Flea Market. And Cactus Plant Flea Market is a brand that sort of popped out of nowhere towards the beginning of the year and has since released a ton of stuff that honestly I'm not the biggest fan of. I feel like some pieces are pretty nice, but a lot of stuff is sort of a little bit off the walls for me. I like a select number of things, but I really, really like the shoes. I was able to get those in hand when they released. They were extremely limited, and thankfully, I was able to get them, and they were just really cool in hand. The only drawback to those was that they released in women's sizing. They did do a full range, so it could convert over to men's sizing, but they were really limited, and a lot of people just couldn't get their hands on them. They're really, really nice in hand, and I wish they did a bigger release. Maybe they'll do a re-release, maybe into next year or something like that, but they hands down deserve a spot on this list for a number of reasons. Very, very cool shoe, and they take the number 4 spot. So these last 3 spots were a little bit hard to pick. It was a toss-up between a few different things, but we ended up with these 3, and the number 3 spot actually goes to the Adidas Yeezy 380 Alien. So this was the first colorway of the Adidas Yeezy 380 that we saw release. There was only the one colorway in 2019, but I am so excited to see what they do in 2020. I thought the Alien colorway absolutely knocked it out of the park. I will say at first when pictures came out, I was really on the fence and honestly didn't really like them a ton, but getting them in hand completely changed it. If you have not seen those in person, I totally recommend it. You need to go check them out. They're such a nice sneaker. They're really comfortable and they look really good. And it was just such a good feeling to see a different model come out other than 350s and 700s and all the stuff that we have been seeing by Adidas and Kanye. The 380 is a great new silhouette that is just great all around that I'm really excited to see what they do in 2020. So that takes the number 3 spot, the Adidas Yeezy 380 Alien. Coming in at number 2 is a sneaker you've probably been waiting for if you've been watching this video to see where these land. They had to make the top 10 list and they're getting the number 2 spot for me. It's the Air Jordan 1 Travis Scott. So the Air Jordan 1 High released this year. We also saw the Air Jordan 1 Low as well as an Air Force 1. There was a number of different things by Travis, including the Travis Scott Air Jordan 6 as well. A lot of really cool stuff. But for me, Travis took the cake with the Jordan 1. I have never seen more people come out for a shoe than that shoe did right there. That release was absolutely insane. I struck out. I was not able to get a pair. I still really want a pair. And I think they're just a really cool shoe. Seeing them in person was really nice. And they're just great all around. I think Travis did a really cool job with flipping the swoosh and executed that silhouette perfectly. I'm a really big fan of it. Obviously a huge Travis fan as well. And I think all the shoes that came out this year were really good by him, but specifically the Jordan 1 High knocked it out of the park. That easily takes the number 2 spot of my top 10 list in 2019. Coming in at the number 1 spot, the number 1 pick of the top 10 list for 2019 is the Nike Sacai LD Waffle in blue. This shoe just absolutely killed it for me. Back when I first got these shoes, when they came out, I knew they were going to be on the top 10. There was so much hype around them. It was such a good silhouette and such a good sneaker, hands down, that I knew it was going to be good throughout the year. It came out kind of earlier in the year, and there was still a lot left to see, but I knew it had to make this list. It's such a good sneaker. Nike and Sacai absolutely killed it. I think it looks amazing. It's a really comfortable shoe and just great all around. They even released a bunch of other colorways of the shoe, but specifically for me, I'm going with the blue colorway. The first original colorway of the shoe I think is the best, hands down, and I was so happy to pick it up earlier this year. It's gotten a ton of wear from me, and I think it's just a great shoe that is going to live forever in this timeline of seeing the best shoes across the years. The Nike Sacai LD Waffle is here to stay, and a great shoe by Nike and Sacai. And so now there we have it. That wraps up the top 10 list, the top 10 best sneakers of 2019. Did I get the list right? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Like I said, that was just personally my top 10. I think there's a lot of really great sneakers in there. Some low-key ones, but a lot of really popular shoes that I think 2019 is going to go down as such a good year for sneakers, with so many good releases, so many good collaborations, that I was so happy to be a part of it, and I'm just excited to see what 2020 brings in the future. But that pretty much does wrap up the last video here for you guys of 2019 and the decade. It's really crazy to say, but I can't thank you guys enough for all the support up to this point. If you guys like this video, drop a like, drop a comment, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys real soon in 2020.